The Bite Me podcast is coming right up, and it is brought to you every week right here on YouTube by Freedom Boats. It is the best shallow running boat on the water, and there is a model perfect for you. The Chiquita 14, the Eagle 16, the Patriot 18, the Commander 21, the beautiful Warrior like I have 23, or the big boy that runs so shallow, the General 26. Chet Moore and Pooty can customize it however you'd like, and there's a dealer near you, whether it's the Boatyard in Kemah or dealerships in San Antonio, Beaumont, Corpus Christi, Port O'Connor, Houston, and Aransas Pass. Freedom Boats or freedomboatsusa.com. Welcome into the Bite Me podcast. And if you are watching live on YouTube, you only have one person on your screen right now. That is one Ryan Towns from the Star Tournament, CCA, Texas. And we promised we will deliver. Man, I'm already trying to figure this thing out here. Let's see. I will say this, Ryan. So for those who don't know, let me set it up real quick. This is the Bite Me podcast. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can also join us live every Tuesday at 3:30 right here on YouTube. But if you missed the video, you're going to want to see this video. I will repost it about 6 p.m. On this same page and on the group page, which I hope everybody joins. But Ryan, I know this is always, I say always, it's the second year we've done it, but it's very highly anticipated. We're going to have, well, you tell me, is it 4 tagged redfish released right here live on the Bite Me podcast?
That's correct. You're going to see 4 tagged redfish released here momentarily, right behind the undisclosed location.
Now, what is not seen right now, they are here. Captain Dean Thomas, Captain Caleb McCumber, and Captain Scott Knoll is going to join us here real soon. So you guys can certainly ask questions of Ryan as well. But let me start it out here. Give us a little background of what you've been doing, how many tagged redfish you've already released, what the total number is going to be, and sort of the layout of things to come.
Yep. This Saturday, May 24th at 6 a.m., the 37th annual CCA Texas Star Tournament starts all along the Texas Gulf Coast. So get out there, make plans starting this Saturday. Up to Saturday, we've been releasing 126 tagged redfish from Sabine all the way down to South Padre.
Okay.
So there's going to be a tagged redfish in your neighborhood. And like what we're going to do here today is release 4 of them and go into a little bit of depth about which tag means what and what you can do and how to claim your rewards. But we have already released approximately, I want to say 30.
30?
So we have about 90 left to go before Saturday. So we have a team of volunteers up and down the coast that are dragging trailers just like this one, releasing them in popular spots. We release at bridges, boat docks, boat ramps, like you can see behind me.
We're looking. We are definitely looking.
Popular spots in the bay, causeways, bridges, wherever you're fishing, there's going to be one of these tagged redfish that could potentially be worth $140,000 right next to you.
Now, I know Dean and Caleb can jump in. Caleb, you look like you have a question, but let me ask a couple more real quick, because we already had this mentioned on the live stream here, and I know some of our listeners across the country are wondering this same thing. I've been asked this multiple times. If myself or any of our listeners can figure out where you're releasing these fish, okay? They go, I got that. I know exactly where he is. I'm going to go pound on that thing for a while. They take a polygraph. They're still eligible, correct? They just figured it out. Or will you tell me what is the situation? Because they're worried about the polygraph.
No one ever said the polygraph examination is going to be easy. Our polygraph examiners have been on the Texas Polygraph Board for over 30 years now. One of them's a homicide detective. The integrity of the tournament's utmost important to us, so we want to do an even playing field for everyone. But yes, you have to be a CCA member and Texas Star entry in order to be eligible to claim any of the over $2 million in prizes and scholarships that we offer every summer, including $325,000 in college scholarships. But as far as the polygraph examination, once you catch a tagged redfish, your CCA membership is valid and your Star entry is valid. You will clip the tag, take the tag to your local weigh station. There's 18 of them up and down the Texas coastline, so there's one next to you. They're going to fill out the weigh-in form. That tag and weigh-in form is going to be submitted to us. The next week, we're going to be vetting, ensuring that your CCA membership star entry is good, and updating the leaderboard. But once you actually pass your polygraph exam, you have to come we schedule your polygraph exam in Houston, so you have to come up and take it. And once you pass that is when you become an official winner.
They're more worried about having inside information about watching your video.
Exactly.
You will not have any issues.
Just tell I've taken a polygraph from the fellow, the homicide detective, and it's not fun. It's not fun. But if you tell him, hey, look, this is on my mind, this is what happened, you'll be good to go. Yeah. What I need, John, is a chiropractor, man, because I had to go catch all these damn redfish for him yesterday.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Caleb caught them all.
We were going for 130, but I fell short, so that's my bad, guys.
I will say, Ryan, and we're going to get right to it here. I know you've got a lot on your plate, so to speak, but I will say the only ones that I've seen videos of so far have been from CCA Texas, from the Star Tournament itself. And I can tell you, the one that dropped yesterday or the day before, I could take you to the exact rock where you let it go. I could take you to that exact rock. I'm not going to say, and I don't fish there, but I was like, oh, so these are very doable. And where you're standing right now, again, I will release this video. I'll record it and post it on the Bite Me group page and my YouTube channel. So you kind of want this to happen, right? I know last year for a while there, it was a little, I won't say disappointing, but you were kind of anxious to get people to catch these things, right?
We were. Last year, just like every year, we have so many unforeseen circumstances. Last year put a big hindrance on the Star Tournament and every angler on the Texas coastline up until about Father's Day, with all the 40 inches of fresh water that came in. We had derecho blow through Texas, and then the hurricane as well. We had small craft advisory for most of the summer, so many people couldn't actually get out there safely, participate in the tournament, and then get back home. But this year, we're putting them out where you fish, just like what you see behind me. It's plain Jane spot. It's easy access for everyone. You don't need the boat. In fact, most of our tagged redfish are released from the shore.
Yeah. All right. So, Dean, if you have anything, hop in now. And I want to give a shout out to your cameraman. I see his finger right there on the screen. There we go.
I'm glad that was his finger.
This is Chris, and then we have Mr. Bob.
All right, Chris and Bob, you said?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's get to it. Dean, do you have anything?
No, I'm good, man. I'm Googling the spot.
All right, which one are you going to release first? And talk us through it as you go through it, because I know you have 4 different colors on the tags.
We do. So this first one we're going to be doing is a red tag.
That's the big one.
Texas Ford Dealers Red Tag Division. The first 5 red tags that are caught, you will receive a brand new 2025 XLT Super Cab 4-door. Ford was generous enough to do that for us last year. Said everyone loves the 4-door. Why not we make it a centerpiece for Star?
Yeah.
You can see that these fish are lively. They're on pure O2 right now.
So Ryan, I have one quick question.
Yep.
So as a guide, not eligible to win the big prize, but if somebody on my boat catches a tagged fish, what am I eligible for?
So as long as you, as a guide, are entered as the CCA member and sign up for the guides division, and you put a client on a star winning fish at the end of the year, especially a tagged redfish, that's 5 entries into the drawing for a hot power Polaris. So that's a trailer.
All right, you cut out there for a second, but he's in the drawing for a Polaris, and then there's a drawing at the very end among the guides. So, all right, so this guy is ready to go. This is a truck, boat, and trailer redfish. All right, so it's
We
in the
could
net.
have let him go somewhere near a cell phone tower. I tell you what, you're eligible for, Dean. You're eligible for no tip, because all of a sudden they got to come up with a bunch of money for tax, title, and license.
That's right. You're going to lose your tip.
I get a lot of publicity though.
Yeah, there it is. So it's in the net. He's getting it in the grip, and we're about to see that's the tag redfish. Whoa!
Oh, he got a bump on his head. It's gonna be the one with a bump.
It's gonna be one with a bruise on his head. It's gonna. Here we go. All right, so there's the tag, and you got a clip, take a picture, video, whatever, and go from there. So here we go with the tagged fish. You can see it very clearly now in the video. Again, I will post this. Clip it as close to the bottom as you can, right, Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're having a little trouble with his audio, but we'll walk and talk through this. Don't say it just yet, Caleb and Dean. But do you have an idea?
Well, I've got an area.
I do not.
I've got
You
an
do not?
area. I don't have an exact ramp.
Look at that.
I do not know that place.
Well, there he goes. He's going slow. He wants to stay with Ryan. He wants to stay. He got used to Ryan and all the
Get
oxygen.
out of there, fishy. Go swim a long way.
Ryan was giving him hugs.
That's a red tag. So the first 5 anglers when brand new 50.
All right, he's cutting out a little bit. I'm gonna explain what you're talking about. Give us another shot here with the audio in a second. But basically, said that's one of the first 5 red tags caught are going to get that truck, boat, and trailer. I gotta tell you, we got to get Scott on here. He might have a better idea. But you said you know the area, Caleb.
I mean, they're just looking at the water and the grass and stuff. It narrows it down to a little ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got, as John Parkoff said, he got bonked on the head when he fell, so he's moving a little slow right now.
It's in the bottom 50% of Texas.
Yeah, is that what you're thinking? I have not been on that ramp. I know most ramps that I've been on, but I haven't been on that one. I know that, or at least well, hold on now. Hold on. Those little sheds right there are very familiar. That's what I'll say. I think it's had a light bulb moment here.
You recognize them from all the trout you clean under them?
No, back in the day, maybe. Back in the day, I could. And Scott has joined us now. Let me get Scott's opinion here in a second, but we'll talk about this in just a second. All right, hold on. Get the layout back the way it should be. Here comes. This is the green
been
tag.
on oxygen.
They've all been on oxygen.
And G-juice, dude.
Yeah. So here we go. I believe this is the blue tag. Correct, Ryan? You can nod your head. Yeah, that's the blue tag. Ooh, that's a pretty fish right there. And there's the blue tag right there.
The first 3
Yeah.
anglers are going to catch the tag and release it when it's 20.
Yeah, clip it as low to the bottom as you can and release. Oh, he's going to release himself. He's going to release himself. He is out of here. And like Scott was saying, they're on so much oxygen.
Oh, they're juiced right now.
They are absolutely. There he goes. Well, he kind of got a bonk on the head too, but he'll
He's
be
got a
out of here.
concussion now.
And there they go. And it starts on Saturday, Memorial Day weekend. So now we have, and I'm gonna mute Ryan real quick here and just explain from
that pelican just got him one.
the pelican got a boat.
What happens if you find one floating? What's the rules there?
Yeah, well, polygraph. And now here comes, I believe, the green tag, and this is Lone Star beer for a year, if I remember that correctly. And let me try to unmute Ryan again, see if his mic is working. And I believe this is the Lone Star beer for a tag. So we already had the blue tag, the red tag, and the blue tag. And here comes the green tag. Scott, while we're waiting here, do you have an idea? I had a light bulb moment a second ago when they panned to the left.
I don't recognize those docks.
Mm-hmm.
It's South Texas somewhere. There's grass. We know it ain't Matagorda or Galveston.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go like Lower Laguna on this one, like
This
somewhere
is-
below the land cut.
This is the green tag, correct, Ryan? Yes. Okay. This is Lone Star beer for a year. And this guy's ready to go. They are so juiced up. They are popping. There we go. There's the green tag right there. We have evidence. Because I will say, my wife Jan got into the Star Tournament for the first time last year. And when it was all over, we fished on Labor Day weekend when the tournament ends. And she goes, they didn't put any of those fish in there. I said, yes, they did. Oh, whoa. And that is the orange tag. And this is a new one for this year, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. This is Whataburger for a year. What a
I like
burger
that
for
better
a-
than beer for a year.
Yeah, what a catch, what a fish, whatever you want to call it. That is a lot of number twos or number threes, which is the double.
Number two.
Yeah, that's the number two.
I almost
Red-
can't say number two without saying mayonnaise, lettuce, and tomato only.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like an instinct at this point.
All right, so Ryan, go back to the truck real quick, and maybe the signal is better there for you. We've been talking it through. I think we got most of the details accurate, and maybe we'll hear from you again real quick before we let you go. So that makes 34 that you've now released, 34, 35 thereabouts.
That's correct. We'll be releasing more tomorrow.
And you're going to release some more tomorrow. So we're going to let you go. We really, really appreciate this. And just so people know, and you can just nod your head. I'm going to mute you here. Just so people know, don't worry about the polygraph, but they probably do need to say, I figured it out watching the video just for the sake of the polygraph, correct? That is correct. All right. Well, we're going to let you go. We have a lot of fun doing this every year. And you guys are the best. And I will remind everyone, registration right now, it starts on Saturday morning. Saturday morning it starts, and it ends on Labor Day weekend. So really appreciate you guys doing this. Let's do it again next year, man. This is one of the special things that very few people get to see is the live release of tagged redfish. All right, we're going to let you go. Appreciate it, man. What do you think, fellas?
I can't see. Oh, shit!
Yeah.
I thought the lights turned out.
I had a stroke.
Man,
Yeah.
that'd be crazy if somebody caught two of them because they're all in, like centrally located that get Whataburger and beer for a year.
Wyatt Foster caught two on the same day last year, the year before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And he was registered.
No, he's a guide.
He's a guy,
Oh,
he turned
that's
them-
right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Turned them all loose. He
Yeah.
turned them loose and then he booked up for the rest of the every day.
Before we go on to our other topics here, guys, I kind of had y'all are talking me out of it, but I kind of had a little light bulb moment there.
We ain't told you nothing.
No, because you said lower, and I think it's. Can I say? I guess I can say.
As long as
It's-
you tell the polygraph guy.
Yeah, I think it's Port Lavaca area. I think it's the Port Lavaca area. I've seen that before, and I might be drawing a blank on that. But if you can figure it out, no, it's not, Scott.
I don't know of any ramp that looks like that around Port Lavaca.
The water and the grass, it makes me feel like it's like south.
Yeah.
Way south.
And the jetty that little jetty built in there beside it. That's like Lower Laguna looking stuff. Maybe I can't think of a public ramp that would
I
be on
think
the
I
Upper
know
Laguna.
what John's talking about, though.
Right?
They rebuilt that ramp. That was an older, out of the way.
Yeah. Just my hunch. I'm gonna drive by there.
I know what you're thinking of in
Yeah.
Port Lavaca. I know what you're thinking of.
But either way,
And that's the other part. I feel like they wouldn't have traveled that far to release them. I feel like there's another group of guys are probably in charge of releasing those ones way down there.
and last year they released it south.
I don't know. They just showed up and picked up all them fish from me. They didn't tell me where they were going.
Oh yeah.
That dark one, I caught him in Sabine yesterday. He is feisty then too.
I'm telling you, that one that he released, that the Star Tournament posted, I could literally take you to the exact rock where they dropped that fish. I know.
See,
exactly.
I agree. I kind of agree with Chad with the baffin thing, but like the things that I pay attention to is how far across was it? We could see the land on the other side.
Yeah.
Stuff like that too. But hell, maybe Chad uses that ramp.
Yeah. Well, if you can figure it out, we have established you can catch it. And by the way, they haven't moved very far, so I'd get out there Saturday as soon as possible. They're moving slow. They're moving slow right now. All right, so that was cool. Let's get into the podcast. Actually, let's get into this. I said we have two major things happening on today's podcast. The first was those 4 tagged redfish. The next is this, and a lot of people have been asking about this, and we are now ready to announce this. The 2025 Bite Me podcast feeding frenzy. We're all 4 of these guys. All 4 of us are going to be there. We have confirmed the grand prize raffle item, and it is another outstanding one. It is a 2026 Freedom Boats 19-foot Patriot with a 140 horsepower Suzuki and a Coastline trailer, retail price of about $55,000, and that is going to be raffled away on September 20th. I know we still have some time between now and then, but we're going to have, probably by tomorrow, we're going to have the RSVP link live and active on the Bite Me group page on Facebook, and the raffle link. So you can start buying raffle tickets by tomorrow. And how about that, boys? Chet Morampudi and Freedom Boats comes through yet again. Just a $55,000 boat that we're going to raffle. And hell, we only had about 5. I say only, it was a lot of people, but your odds are, what, 1 in 500, 1 in 600, something like that?
Yeah, it is the best odds to win a boat that you will ever come close to.
Let's talk about taking your game to another level. Let's talk about Sawgrass Rods. If you haven't heard, they're taking over the inshore, offshore, and fly rod game. Sawgrass Rods, Colin Zillich, the whole gang over there are going to make sure that you've got the right rod. We throw Sawgrass rods, and Sawgrass is the next level of rod. I'm telling you, when you order a Sawgrass rod, if you don't like what you ordered, return it. They'll pay for the shipping. That's the way it is, and that's the way you can trust Sawgrass Rods, sawgrassrods.com.
Unless you go fish baffin for a redfish.
No,
the odds are still better.
yeah, that's still, yeah.
Because we know where the raffle tickets are. They're going to be in that basket.
Well, we nailed where the ramp was too. I don't know if we can say it out loud, but
is that it, Scott? Scott showed us the ramp. That looks like it. Where is that?
it's like, yeah, we can't say that. They got to be in the live show. You got to be in the live show.
Yeah, we can't say. I want to be able to win that. But all right, so we got 2026. Just private message us, Scott. I think you got it nailed.
Contest. I can't private message you.
Well, it's not going to be where I fish. If it's where I think it is, I don't fish there.
It ain't Port Lavaca.
Okay, well that's what I needed to know.
Yeah, and so when I thought that, I was looking at the background, and the gazebo and thing back there, it was not. I was thinking that 6 mile boat ramp at Port Lavaca is what that ramp looked like.
Yeah,
the shoreline is not it.
Mm-hmm.
That ramp is actually named after some really good friends of mine. I'm trying to do it without saying the name. He was a really well known vet somewhere in South Texas, and his family has a bunch of land there along that particular body of water.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope one of our listeners and viewers catches it, because you can pass the polygraph. You just heard Ryan Towns talking about that. If you say you figured it out here, and then somebody else wins that boat at the feeding frenzy. I'm really excited about that, and shout out to Chet. We also got confirmation on another raffle item, and by the way, it's going to be after the boat draw. We had these questions before. What if I win the other item first? No, the boat draws is going to happen first, and then if you don't win the boat, you're going to have a chance to win. I've got it right here, the official name. It's a Power Pole Marine Smart Charger, valued at $1,500. And we're also going to have some trips. We got a South Texas deer hunt in Cotulla for up to 2 guests, 2 nights. We already have a couple of people who have donated weekend stays, one in, I believe, Port O'Connor, and another in Rockport. So it's all happening. Anybody who's interested in becoming a sponsor, just hit me up, because we do need to pay for all this stuff. as Dean and I were talking about this weekend. That is a little minor detail that we need to pay for. So if you have a business, of course, all our partners here on the podcast, they've always come through. Oh, one more thing. and this is already up on the group page. We do have a block of rooms at the Candlewood Suites in Aransas Pass, and I believe it's $100 a night, and the retail or the regular rate is $179 a night. So you're going to save about $100 there. Get all the details on the group page. So anything to add on all that? I just think it's really cool the way this thing's grown, and it's going to be September 20th, and you're going to start working that way. By tomorrow, we're going to have those links.
Butter Churn is locked in for the food.
Yeah.
What's the menu? Do we know
that we're going to work on? But we're going to have casting contest as well. Perry's talking about that. And
I was practicing today.
You were? How'd you do?
I was just throwing it at the water. It was pretty good.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. You got to hit the bait bucket. You got to. It's going to be the bait bucket. But
I just Google mapped it. I'm 67 miles from that launch spot.
As a crow flies?
No, on the road.
Yeah.
You're not at home. You're not at home. Okay.
Like 50 something miles. As a crow flies, it's like 50 something miles. But
I forget. I mean, that looks so much like your house. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I just realized that you're here. Oh shit.
All right, so let's get into some topics here and help some people catch some fish. Oh, before we do that, next weekend, this coming weekend after, we've got the FlatsWorthy event that we're going to go to. I know, Scott, you wanted to mention something about that.
Yeah, we're doing the FlatsWorthy's doing their big banquet Saturday the 31st. 3 of the 4 of us will be there.
Yeah,
and hanging out. So come hang out with us. Get you a ticket to it. It's a good time. If you've ever been to a CCA banquet, Ducks Unlimited banquet, that kind of thing, it's very similar. And they'll probably have some good speakers up there. That's what they did last time. Talk about FlatsWorthy and what all they're doing. And then lots of raffles and door prizes and all that good stuff too. Good.
All right. So this is not a question that we got. I have a couple of questions from listeners for today's podcast. But this one came from a conversation that I had with a couple of folks at the Babes on the Bay this past weekend. We were down there, and it was a huge event. I mean, just monstrous and a lot of fun. And the question came up about the most impressive, legitimate fishing tournament performance that you've ever seen or had. Because you guys, we were blown away. I know I was anyway. So the Babes on the Bay, it was probably blowing 20 to 30 easily. Very windy, very bad conditions. And those ladies just kicked some butt. And the one that stood out, Scott, I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not, but there was a fly fishing category. Believe it or not, with that wind, there was a fly fishing category, and you had to catch 4 redfish. And these ladies caught 4 redfish that totaled over 99 inches to win the fly fishing category. That's damn near 25 inches of redfish.
Look, Caleb was sitting there hurting his head.
Well, there's 4. If it was 100,
there'd be 1 inch redfish. But 25-inch redfish on a fly in 30 mile an hour winds. That's impressive.
It can be done.
Well, it was
not every day, but it can be done.
That was wild. And so, and Dean, you were saying they probably, I mean, the only way to do that is waiting, right?
More than likely they were walking, especially with 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought they were on a pole and skiff.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And I did that tournament a few years ago with a couple of ladies, and it was blowing every bit of that, if not more. And it was hell, man. We power poled down a lot and just kind of blind casted to cuts and edges and things like that. Sight casting was pretty much out of the question.
Yeah, they probably had a better guide,
bigger boat. I mean, 4 people on a Poland skiff.
Was it 4 people on it?
I don't know if I don't know how many people were on that one.
The fly fishing one, I think it's 2-person team.
Yeah, it might be.
Okay, well, that's that. I was thinking they were a 4-people team, but yes, 2. Now that makes sense.
Yeah, I was just skimming the leaderboard, and I came back. I told Dean, I said, did you see this?
And I went and looked. The winners weren't posted online yet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're
So
not.
I couldn't find it. Where it went to the winners page, it was said coming soon.
Yeah, but on site, that's what was posted. So it got me to thinking, because I know you guys, the first thing people talk about with Dean and Caleb and Scott is how humble you are and how you don't like to brag. But so I thought this was a perfect opportunity for a great story time. Whether it was yourselves or Dean, I'll start with you, or someone that you saw. Like, what is the most impressive tournament performance that you've ever seen? Because that to me, it blew me away.
Dean had a front row seat to it.
Well, no, that would be me. Mine actually trumps
See what
Scott.
I mean? We're also humble. We're also humble here.
There was the tournament, and it was before Scott went with me to Florida. I went and fished against all of those Florida guys, and I won first place snook in a kayak tournament, and nothing chapped their ass worse than somebody from Texas coming to their tournament and winning the first place snook in the tournament. So that was a good one. And Scott was a close second to what he did, but that was also in Florida, beat those guys on their home turf. And those were quite memorable, both of those.
Well,
but,
first, before we get to Scott, tell me about your fish. Yeah.
It was man, Tampa, Florida. No, wait a minute. Where was that?
No, y'all were south.
What?
Y'all were down there where that idiot just had all the problems with the
Punta Gorda.
Yeah.
Punta Gorda, that's where it was. So yes, went down there. And so talking to some of the local guys, that's where I learned about these big, noisy, like wood choppers and these just giant topwater lures. And I went and I bought one, and it was parrot colored. It was purple, orange, blue, green. It's the most ridiculous colored looking giant topwater. And being there, I mean, I wasn't interested in catching other species. I wanted to catch a snook. Don't get a chance to do that here. So I just kept beating up the water, beating it. And it was it was somewhere in the 33, 34 inch. It was a beautiful snook. And took first place on that. And it was against all of those local dudes that fished there. And just the fact that it beat them, and they're not really fond of Texans in the first place. I mean, they tolerated us being there, and then to get the prize, oh man, it was cream on the cake, man.
Cream on the cake.
Cream on the cake.
Everyone knows about the cream on the cake.
Right.
It was good. I mean, just being there fishing, and Punta Gorda is amazing. It's kind of populated. It's not as populated as like Tampa or Titusville and those other places, but it's still right there. You're launching at bridges. It was kayak tournament, so you're launching at bridges around town and boat ramps. And all of Florida, there's not a lot of public entry into the water. It's everything has got a house and a fence that says keep your ass out. And it was just cool, man. It is a beautiful place. Punta Gorda is south enough. It's not like the everglades and like down there, but beautiful mangroves, creeks, these mangrove tunnels that run through there. It's a really cool tropical place to fish, and loaded with snook, man.
All right, Scott. So that was the most impressive performance. What was the second most, according to Dean?
You remember, Dean, when we went back there for the second tournament, and that ended up getting canceled by the hurricane, but we were back in the back. Remember that pig that we saw eating the oysters?
Oh yeah, man, that pig was
the thing I ever seen.
Was scraping oysters off of the mangrove roots, just
it sounded like he was eating glass. I mean, it was horrible sounding.
Yeah, he would drag his tusks up and down the roots and knock the oysters off, and then just pick them up and munch them, shells and everything.
Me and Dean are looking at him going, man, I ain't scared of pigs. I'm scared of that.
Yeah, we were
I'm
like,
scared of that pig.
get the hell out of here. Is what that was.
So, Scott,
Yeah.
was that the most impressive?
I wasn't there for that one. That was
Yeah.
that was before I started fishing with him, so that's how he won. But I think we placed in pretty much every tournament we ever fished together.
Yeah. I mean, it was.
Yeah, we were the last of the kayak tournaments in Tampa. That was my favorite one. Because same thing. All the Florida guys are there. That was, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 people in this tournament. And Dean and I went out there, went into a place called Cockroach Bay, straight across from the Tampa Stadium. You can see the stadium from there.
Okay.
And that bridge, that Skyway Bridge.
Yeah, you see the Skyway Bridge and all that from this plot. And in there, and the tide was dead low, nothing happening. And I paddled out to this little sandbar, and I'm looking at fish just laying in potholes. And all the locals tell you, man, don't even bother fishing until the tide starts moving around there. I mean, it's just they ain't gonna eat. And they were right; they weren't eating. And then all of a sudden, all this eelgrass that was down there, it was like foot deep eelgrass, and it all laid over. And you could tell that the tide. I mean, their tide changes quick, and it's impressive. It's a large tide, and immediately started catching fish. And they had just had a red tide there, so everybody was thinking, yeah, the winning trout's probably going to be like a 14, 15-inch trout. I don't even remember how big that one was, Dean, but it was mid 20s. I remember right. It was a big trout. For over there, it was a real big trout.
Yeah.
And then popped me a redfish, and then Dean paddled up. And I said, "Oh, I needs a snook." And so I went back into the trees, back to the mangroves, and popped me. It was a little small snook, wasn't much, but with the big trout and the big red, it was plenty enough to win the tournament and beat all of those local boys and piss them off something terrible.
I'm sensing a theme. Piss them off. Piss them off.
But then they came to Aransas Pass, and I took second at Aransas, and one of the Florida boys took first.
Oh,
Dean had a front row seat on that one too.
Yeah, and those things, it ain't like they were like gracious losers, They
Oh,
didn't
no.
come up and be like, "Oh, good job, man, you got me." It was like, man,
screw you.
I thought they were gonna cut our tires on the truck or something, man. I was watching the parking lot.
All right, Caleb, I know you're very humble. You talk about it all the time that you're the most humble person in history.
It's what I'm most proud of.
Yeah. But if you can set that aside for a moment, what was the most impressive tournament performance that in your mind?
Scott, I think the most impressive tournament performance has got to be how many times Robert and Taylor have brought in a 9-pound average in 1 second with it. It's got to be like 8 to 10 times.
I mean, just put their name on the trophy.
Second place. Y'all don't even get. Yeah,
I don't know how many times they did that. It was a solid running joke.
They brought in they brought in a 9.3 pound average in Sabine, and Robert was over there cashing his checks, and then me and Daniel brought in like a 9.6 pound average. If those dudes fish good, somebody's going to have a day, and that in itself is impressive to me.
That's one of the stories I was hoping to hear. Yeah,
Yep.
like you get a 9-pound average, you're spending the money. You're spending the money.
No, they won second every single time with it, and I think that's impressive.
How about you?
Pretty funny.
Who, me?
Yeah, you're
What's the most
the one you're most proud of that you either pissed somebody off or you didn't expect to get it.
See, I wasn't even prepared to talk about any of my accolades here. I wanted to talk about my friends winning
The guy who
second.
has checks all over his walls.
Yeah, you're gonna pull it up.
I was waiting for him to point at one of those and go, "Well, let me tell you the story about this."
I think that was back in '97 over there.
He has a file on his iPad. Impressive
got
stories
so many.
by me.
Yeah,
Impressive
exactly.
stories about
Yeah.
me.
How can I pick just one?
That's right.
I don't know that I've ever done anything that wasn't impressive in some way or the other.
Now we're talking. That's what I was hoping for. Right.
I mean, I have 2 wins and one of them was in tropical storm, and one of them was in worse weather than that. And I think that's pretty cool to put it together. I'm trying to think if I have any winds in good conditions. I might even start watching the weather in a different kind of way. But
by the way, go ahead.
I've told most of my stories.
Figgy Fig, our producer at Sports Radio 610, has decided to pop in, and he's ranking the backgrounds. Number one, Scott, although that's not Scott's house, so he's disqualified.
Yeah, his background, some sheetrock with some dead deer on it.
Yeah, what does Figgy know? Number two, Captain Caleb TV, 3, Slow Ride, and me, fourth. But what does Figgy know? He doesn't know anything. I think he's just taking a shot at me. All right, so I've got one, believe it or not. I haven't been in as many tournaments as you, but several over the years. I was telling Dean this fish right here. That trout.
Are we going to hear this story again?
Damn, you've only heard it once. The other guys haven't even heard it. So that fish,
I think you've told that story here.
Have I on the podcast?
That's why I didn't tell. That's why I didn't tell my stories. They're tired of hearing about it, John.
Okay, go ahead.
Heard this one? Have they even heard this? Okay, so
it's worth it.
He's gonna tell it. He's gonna.
That's why I said, go ahead on.
When he was writing down the show, he looked up at that fish and said, "How can I brag about this but make it everyone else's fault?"
He saved it for last too.
Hey, since Figgy's here, do you have to put up with this crap on the sports radio, Figgy?
Tell it again, John. LOL. I guess I have told this story.
Humble brag.
Anywho, look who's talking about me bragging. Scott, Caleb, and Dean.
I told stories about somebody else, and then you're like, "Oh no, you tell one because I'm about to pull some shit over here." And
how many checks you got in your background? How many checks are up back there?
Well, there's more laying behind that wall. It just doesn't fit.
So this is funny because we were there was a big tournament in Galveston, all right, and they asked me to MC the weigh-in. It was a big tournament, weigh-in, all that stuff. I said, sure, no problem. They said, you get a free entry into the tournament. So backstory, I was so frustrated for years because I'd caught so many 27s, 28s, 29s. And I said, I'm not going to get a fish mounted until I catch a legitimate 30-inch trout. All right. And so 30 minutes before I had to run in, I had like a couple little trout, whatever. I start wading in this one area. Boom. This trout hits my bait. Well, this is fiberglass, but that trout hits my bait. I get it in. I barrel into the weigh-in. I'm on the microphone doing all the awards, this flounder, this stringer. And then I just said, long story short, I said, and big trout. I put both my thumbs up. I said, me. Right on cue. All these dudes just started throwing shit at me from the stage. Literally just throwing stuff at me. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. But the good thing is I've caught 230 since then. So it just took me a few years to get my 30. And now I can't stop catching 30s, Caleb. That sounds like something that you would say.
Did you get a big ass check though?
I got a very nice check with no entry fee.
No, I mean like a 4x8.
Oh no, God, no. Who do you think I am? Who would do that? Who would do that?
Can we bring Figgy on full time? Because he's cooking you over here in the comments.
Right.
He's cooking me.
Tell us about your time in Spain now.
Yeah. Well, I did go fishing in Spain, actually. I did. When I was y'all asked for it. So when I was traveling,
asked for it.
when I was traveling, me being a sicko I am, I was like, wonder what the fishing is like here. So I fished in Australia when I was there for the Olympics, Spain when I was there for the Olympics, France when I was there for the Olympics, Germany when I was there for the World Cup, and Japan when I was there for the Olympics. So take that.
Dude, in my comments right there, Figgy says he can talk about Spain. And I said, so there I was at the Olympics. Nailed it. Nailed it. We can end the show. Check.
I think he did a World Cup there too, right?
I did the World Cup in Italy, Korea, Germany, and U.S.
Okay, back to fishing now.
Back to fishing. Called it.
That's
Hey,
enough about your
You know,
exploits.
another impressive tournament deal was just me and you surviving.
I thought the more
Oh.
impressive part was us bringing in a dead redfish that was lighter than the penalty for a dead redfish.
That was pretty cool too. Should we
Yeah.
weigh it? Well, we're
I,
gonna get a negative.
I don't. Most of that day is pretty fuzzy.
What's the story, Scott?
Oh, we've told it on here before, man. We fished in a damn hurricane. We had
May
a
the
tornado
4th,
come over the top of us.
2004.
Sustained
Yeah.
50-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah,
Oh,
sustained
no.
50s. And
Yeah.
we went. Thank God we were in my ugly ass boat that you don't like, that old Gargle.
Liked
That
it
thing
that day.
saved our ass on that day. But, I mean, we went to a spot where I had been catching redfish pretty steady. You know, I waded over. You know, you wade in that tournament. I jumped out, waded. Caleb stayed on the outside of the island. I went on the inside where I've been catching all these reds, and I caught 5 trout in a row on top waters in that pocket.
With lightning hitting within 100 yards of us.
Oh yeah,
Boom.
lightning popping. I mean, it was. And then we got in the boat and said, "To hell with this." We ran way up north to get on the other side of the storm, thinking, "Oh, yeah, that'll work." And then the storm found us again, and then it got real still.
The eye passed over us.
Jeez.
And yeah, and it was. I mean, it was dead calm, flat, nothing. Went from 50-something mile an hour to nothing, and then.
And I
back to
caught. Hey,
50
remember I caught a big ass flounder that day. That's the only good fish we caught was a massive flounder.
I caught 5 trout. They were all pretty good too.
Me and Scott could cast all the line off of our spinners with a popping cork.
I thought
It
with
was
Scott
insane.
was the day we were kayaking in
Oh, yeah.
70-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, that was fun too. Yeah, we
Yeah,
survived that one somehow.
That was truly death defying.
Are you exaggerating? Is that the one where you talked about the clouds?
Yeah, where Scott turns around and he goes, "I've never seen clouds, or that's the funniest looking clouds I've ever seen, or I've never seen clouds like that before." And within like 2 minutes, man, my kayak was upside down. I'm holding on the rope. There is one classic photo that Scott took of me standing in the middle of that. I don't know where that photo got lost to time.
Yeah. And then we drug our boats across a mangrove island to get on the backside of it just to huddle up and figure out what the hell we were going to do. We were way into the lighthouse lakes, and we were sitting against these little bitty short mangroves, and the wind was blowing so hard that we were completely dry. The wind was blowing the rain sideways.
Yeah.
And I was
we
digging around in there.
Some, Hail Marys.
I'm digging around in there. I get out one of my power bars, and Dean looks over. He says, "You got another one of them?" I said, "Yeah." I reached in there. I got another little power ball, handed it over to him in a 70-mile-an-hour storm. I mean, horrible. Dean looks at it and goes, "You got another flavor?"
I don't like chocolate.
Shut up and eat it.
You're
going to need your energy to get back to that.
Let's talk about the most important thing between you and that potential fish of a lifetime. Lines and leaders. Seagar, truly the best. They've been doing it at the highest level since 1971. People always ask, what do you throw? I throw Seagar. The double structure fluorocarbon is virtually invisible in the water and has exceptional strength and castability. And if you love and trust Seagar Fluoro, you're going to love the braid. Man, bait casters, spinning reels, inshore, offshore, it's the absolute best and the only braid I throw. It's Seagar, the best quality, the most trusted name in the game. Get to a great retailer near you like Fishing Tackle Unlimited or Anglers Anonymous. Visit Seagar.com. That's Seaguar. Seagar, always the best.
The truck.
And Scott, were we together at that Decker Lake in Austin, that freshwater tournament?
No, I didn't go to that one.
Oh man, I was in lightning so bad that the rods were the static electricity in the air, they were like sizzling. Where the line was ticking on the rods from the static.
Doing
and it was
stupid stuff.
Oh, that was very stupid because in the morning the storms hit and there was like a break in the action, and then they said, "Oh, okay, tournament's back on, let's go." And as soon as everybody got out there, it just turned to from bad to worse. And Yeah, that was probably the second worst lightning I've ever been in.
Man.
The more impressive part about me and Scott's story is 12 hours before we were trying to die, we were standing in line to pay our money, and we're like, "You sure you want to do this tomorrow?" We're like, it can't be that bad. I'll probably blow through.
But that's the thing. The tournament, the worst weather any of us have ever been in, I know, has been in tournaments without fail.
Well, because on a normal day, you say, hell, I ain't going.
Yeah, you ain't
Exactly.
gonna do that. That's you push the limits and you make bad decisions.
Yeah. Hell, I didn't even go Sunday. I was going to take Jan out on Sunday. I was blowing 30, 35. I said, tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another day.
That cloud Dean's talking about, it was a shelf cloud.
Mhm.
And look up shelf clouds and find the worst looking one you could ever find. And it ain't as bad as the one we saw.
That bad one that got me and Delacroix it looked like the cloud started at 10 feet off the ground and then went to 40,000 feet up.
Mhm.
And it was flat like a piece of sheetrock.
Yes, and a crazy shade of purple and green.
Yep.
Man. All right. We'll get to a question here that actually has to do with fishing and actually can tie in with the Star Tournament, because it has to do with do moon phases affect upper, middle, and lower coast bays differently, in terms of like tidal conditions, deeper bays versus shallower bays, bays with more drains and bayous, clear water versus dark water. Scott, I'll start with you on this one. We all talk about the moon phases and how it affects different things, but is it different depending on where you are on the Gulf?
I don't think so. I mean, I hate the full moon and the day or two afterwards, no matter where I'm at. I fish it, because I have to sometimes, but I'd rather not.
Mhm.
I mean, you can catch fish on them. They just act weird. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why that occurs. I mean, people say, oh, they feed at night. Well, they feed at night on a dark moon too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, there's something weird about it, and I can't explain it. And I've talked to my partner over here, that the fisheries biologist, and he can't explain it. So
Even as far as Costa Rica, we've been down there
Ooh.
on the yep.
That's a shelf cloud.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
It's a horizontal tornado is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the last thing I remember.
I
Or everything went upside. But no, man, even as far down as Costa Rica, I mean, all those captains down there will tell you, that on the full moon, it's always tough. And and I've I learned that the hard way, because we were down there fishing on the full moon and scratched full day searching the ocean. But and if you follow like along the solunar tables as you lead up to the full moon, the major feeding period is always like late afternoon that coincides with the full moon.
Yeah.
Late afternoon and evening. If you believe that voodoo magic as well.
It's funny. I thought you guys might have a different opinion on this. I thought, the place, and maybe Caleb does have a different opinion on this. I know the full moon affects everywhere, as Dean just talked about with Costa Rica, but like areas with a lot of drains and bayous and stuff, I kind of thought that maybe it would be a slightly different way that it's affected, Caleb. But do you agree with them?
Yeah, the new moon and the big moon are big two tide days. You're gonna have a lot stronger tidal movement. You're gonna have really higher tides or really lower tides, just depending on the scenarios coming into it. I don't know if the fish behave much differently, but you're definitely gonna have better tides. You pretty well said it. If you're in an area with a bunch of drains and stuff, then those drains are gonna be more drainy. But if you're on flats, those flats are gonna be more flatty.
I do have to fish on a full moon. Midday is typically
10 to 2.
Typically the only time that I've caught fish on a full moon is right in the middle of the day.
I was just going to say the same thing, Caleb. Inevitably, I'm like, well, we don't even need to get out there till 10 o'clock.
My customers always look at me when I'm stupid, and I'm like, meet me at the dock at 8. There's usually a reason. But yeah, 10 to 2. A full moon bite, you can get one right at daylight and right in the evening time, but 10 to 2. I mean, hell, sometimes you catch them all day long, but rule of thumb is 10 to 2, first thing in the morning and last thing in the evening on a full moon.
Everybody's commenting on all my stories. Hey man, I usually defer everything to you guys. I can tell more stories if you want. I'm usually the guy that's just sort of organizing things and going to you guys, but you want stories? I got stories for you.
They listen to airwaves, apparently.
Oh man. All right. So last thing here, and then we'll get to what would Scott do? What would Caleb do? And Dean, avoiding decision paralysis. And this is directly from a listener. Caleb, I'll start with you this time. Quote, you guys have talked a lot about figuring things out in various conditions. We just did. I often have decision paralysis when everything is perfect. In other words, I love it. You can go anywhere. It's an open slate. We've talked about that. Dean, has talked about it on some of those good days. It's wide open, but I end up hopping around everywhere or not knowing where to start. Do you ever fight that temptation, or what do you recommend? And it's an open slate. It's decision paralysis, and maybe you hop around too much.
I don't know. My advice on something like that, when everything looks good, is just hop around a lot and don't really worry about where you start.
Mm-hmm. And
oh hell no! I mean, I agree with that guy. This is what
he says. That's what's paralyzing him. I thought you had like a hook at the end. Like
no. We kind of all do that, I think. I mean, but laser focus on bait and birds. When everything looks good, like when I go fish with Dean, it all looks the same. Mm-hmm. But there's bait in areas and there's birds in areas and stuff like that. I think the hardest thing to do is to come up with a good idea and then decide whether to execute on it or not. And that's the difference between a good day and a bad day just about every time.
Yeah.
Am I staying here, or if I could go over there? It could be good over there. I could
that's my thing.
Be good over here.
That's my thing, Scott. I know it's all good. And I could go even just 20 minutes without a bite or 20 minutes without seeing anything. I'm like, all right, let's go. But that I think that's what he's talking about. Sometimes if you have confidence in it, you probably should just stay with it.
I mean, there's a reason you chose that spot to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I stick with them a little longer. Then sometimes it probably to my detriment that I stick with it a little too long, but I'm in a poling skiff and I'm usually moving around anyway. So I'm working my way from one area to another area. And it's easy to cover a lot of water when the conditions are great. So I can pole a long ways. And so I can check out a lot of different types of stuff. I'm going to do the same thing that I do most any other day, is try to come up with a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in a foot of water today on the grass, or are they over a mud? Are they they working more towards shell? Are they in the back lakes? Are they out on the outside? You can put together a plan and have your plan where you can fish a lot of different places that have different bottoms, different structures, and then you find one that works.
Mm-hmm.
But having the paralysis of it, you got to know what you got to have a plan before you start. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong on it. Like you're talking about bouncing so much, is they're not confident in their plan.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest part of it.
Even if you go to a bunch of different places and spend 20 or 30 minutes there and nothing's working, then it's hard to put together a plan. Part of the reason that I mean, probably 5% of the reason that I don't really like to wade fish a lot anymore is I've been on the tower of that boat and covered 3 miles of Gucci looking stuff with bait in it and everything. And I don't see a fish for 3 miles. And everything you learn says, well, you find bait, you find that, it's kind of, we kind of say that just to like keep y'all coming back, if I'm being honest.
Wait, was that out loud? Dean, you're not the most patient person in the world. Do you get that paralysis sometimes and want to hop around?
I was trying to figure out, when do you not hop around? The only thing that keeps me from The only thing that keeps me from doing that is when I find fish. If
Yeah.
I'm on the fish, I'm getting the bite, then I ain't going nowhere. But I mean, whenever I'm out there, I'm always got 2 or 3 of my next moves in my head already.
Yeah.
And so today, so like the last couple of days, the last week, and the wind, the mullet have been really hard to find. No, you can't see the bait fish. They weren't jumping. And it was really hard to see into the water. This morning, me and Carrie went out for just a little 2-hour for fun trip. I found the mother load of mullet. When I pulled up there, I'm like, let's get it on. Here we go.
If I
I
had a
got
nickel,
paralysis because I
yeah.
got stuck in that mullet there, and I stuck with it. I was like, they got to be here. Zero, nada, shit tons of mullet. There was nothing in there. And as we drift, and I mean, it was actually today was the first day the wind calmed down. You could actually see if there was something there. You would have seen wakes, you'd see mud stirs, you would have been able to see the signs. And yeah, found the mullet, nothing intermingled with them. And I think every damn mullet in the bay was piled up in this corner. And then gave up on that, went out to actually went and drifted the flat where you and I stopped that day when the wind was blowing. It was the only stretch of green water.
Yeah.
And drifted through there with no signs of life on the surface, no obvious signs, drifted through there. Boom, trout, bam, trout, just steady. And saw 2 Jack Crevalle cruising through there also today. So no matter what you think, sometimes you got to go. I mean, you always got to move. And I guess I always have paralysis of the brain.
I think what he's talking about too, though, is like going into the trip having the paralysis. So which way do I go? Where do I start? And having 18 spots that you want to start.
Right. And when it's perfect like that, man, I go to Old Faithful. I go to to where it has always paid off for me in the past. I go to my favorite first.
Well, that's good advice.
I also will go do what I want to do versus, in the wind and the dirty water and things, you go do what you have to do to find the fish. It may not be where you really want to fish.
Yeah.
I'll go to some place I really enjoy.
And that's the last 3 weeks, maybe a month. We've been pinned down because of the wind. And I've been telling that same old sad story. I can't be any more creative than this today because you're not going to go across Corpus Christi Bay to go explore. You're not going to go across Aransas Bay to go to shorelines that are, across the North Sea looking ocean out there to get to that. So yeah, when it's like that, you're kind of pinned. But yeah, whenever you do, I mean that lets you be more creative. You can go and man, those are the days you could try something, that you want to more than you have to.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. The way I want to fish and my favorite spots where I'm going, even though remember, we tell y'all there's no such thing as spots on here. There's just situations. But if the situation's good, you go to your spot.
I call it an area.
Yeah, there's areas.
There's particular back lakes that I really enjoy to be at, and if the weather lets me go to them, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. All right. I'm getting people want to hear the Fidel Castro story. That's going to have to wait until another time. My Fidel Castro story. We got what would Scott do? What would Dean do? What would Caleb do? That's called the tease in the business. It's a good story. All right. So I'm looking at Thursday, Friday. Not too bad. Not too bad in the mornings anyway. Are we finally going to get a little bit of a downward trend on these winds, Scott? Or what would you do?
I mean, it looks good, but the weekday challenged are screwed again. It looks great Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Light winds, you can go do whatever you want to do. Come Saturday, we're going to be, you're going to get pinned up by the wind again. Looks like Saturday and Sunday for Port O'Connor area. I mean, it's gusting to 30, 31, 32. back to that same old thing. Try to find you a protected shoreline
Yeah.
and get in there with everybody else,
Mhm.
which is unfortunately what I'll also be doing Saturday, Sunday.
And it's the holiday weekend,
Monday.
so
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a holiday weekend, and I got to find places to go polling for redfish.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you have a lot of boat traffic on those pinned down kind of weekends, it puts it. That's tough.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be doing a slalom through waders while I
Yeah.
pole.
Yeah. Caleb, I don't know if you have anything to add there, but you know,
I'm leaving the country on Saturday, so everybody be prepared for the forecast to turn around and it's beautiful and the fishing's great and everybody wants a guided fishing trip for 7 days.
where are you going?
Honduras, I think. I don't
Oh,
really
really?
know. I don't really know. I'm not even doing my stupid little game right now. Honest to God, I don't know.
Why? What's going on?
The
How can
in-laws,
you
the in-laws have
not
been planning
know?
this trip for 6 or 8 months, and 6 or 8 months ago I said, yeah, sure, I'll go. And then last week I was like, you know what? I need to stay here and run trips and pay a mortgage. And then Cade browbeat me into going, and that's all I know about it.
So maybe Honduras.
I think, yeah. And somewhere where monkeys swim. Okay, I've heard Cade talking about swimming with a monkey a lot. So we're going somewhere where I think monkeys may swim.
Well, all right.
I'm telling y'all, this is how I live my life. I really don't. It's gonna be just as big a surprise for me as it is for anybody else.
Where are we? Oh, okay. I'm here.
Yep.
It could be
Wait a
anywhere from Belize on down.
Yeah.
I'm Googling swimming monkeys right now.
Things you didn't know you would have on the
baby panthers or something. I
Whoa,
think there's
dude,
baby
maybe you're
panthers.
going to Thailand.
Ooh,
There's
that would be
swimming-
cool.
There's swimming monkeys in Thailand.
Swimming monkeys in Thailand. I don't
I've
think that's
been telling the wife we need to get somebody to help clean around here.
Oh God.
One of these
Oh God.
one of these weeks we're just going to get into Dean's search history and have fun.
Yeah.
Swimming.
Swimming.
Imagine what Dean's search history
No.
looks like.
I've told y'all about my Instagram
Oh yeah.
algorithms. It's hot rods doing burnouts and nitro cars and chicks in bikinis.
Yeah.
I think John's the one that doesn't have a single girl on his Instagram.
Who, me?
One of us.
No, I have my algorithm is girls in bikinis,
Man, y'all are a bunch of perverts.
puppy dogs, and fishing.
And now I have swimming monkeys on mine.
There we go. They're gonna pop up. I'm actually Googling swimming monkeys before we get out of here.
I was gonna flex on my Instagram, but we ain't doing that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Swimming monkeys in South America. Venezuela, does that ring a bell? There's some there.
Chew, that's
okay. They're search for baby jaguars on the beach because I think that was part of it too.
Yeah, well, we'll do that. We'll leave that to
So
you guys.
cougars on the beach.
Oh, that you can get that in Port Aransas. Why are you spending all that money to go to Honduras?
Why won't Caleb look up?
I got hung up in my algorithm.
All right, boys. We'll put a cougars in Port Aransas. That's gonna pop up. All right. So Memorial Day weekend, we got the Carry the Load walk on Saturday. If anybody wants to join myself, Camille obviously is organizing and has her team. And by tomorrow, maybe tonight, but probably tomorrow, we'll have the link for the RSVP for the Feeding Frenzy. We'll have the link for the raffle tickets for the Feeding Frenzy. And if you weren't listening earlier, we have confirmed badass. I've already seen one of the boats that's going to be very like it. He hadn't even built it yet. 2026 Freedom Patriot, 19-foot with a 140 horsepower Suzuki Coastline trailer. Retail about $55,000. You're going to be able to win that. Last year, the winner was not present. It was someone who bought it online. So we can see something along. I mean, you can win it even if you don't get to go, but we highly recommend it. All right, boys. Any parting thoughts here before we go? I know Scott just texted me, but I haven't had a chance to see it. We'll see about all that. Caleb, I'm guessing you won't be here next week for the podcast because you're going to be.
Unless I don't have my passport.
He doesn't know when he's going, when he's
They
coming
may be back
where
Monday
he's
night. They may be back. Might be a weekend trip to see the swimming.
The mother-in-law gets everybody a cruise every year when the kids get out of school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm literally getting my ass in this boat and just seeing where they stop and say, get off at.
All right. Oh man. All right. You guys appreciate it. Fun show as always. Appreciate everybody joining us. This will be posted. You'll be able to see the video ASAP of where those 4 tagged redfish were released. You can figure it out, pass the polygraph, and go home with either Whataburger for a year, Lone Star beer for a year, brand new boat and trailer, or brand new truck, boat, and trailer. You guys have a great week, great weekend, safe holiday weekend. Catch them up. We'll talk to you next time.
Hey, has John ever told you about when he went to the Super Bowl?